Good afternoon, Salem College soccer fans. This is Mike Pettaway with TriadSportsCoverage.com coming to you live from the campus of Salem College in downtown Winston-Salem, North Carolina for today's soccer match between the Guilford College Quakers and the Winston-Salem, or the Salem College Spirits. And in the booth with me today is our guest commentator, a former Spirit. Is that what you say, former Spirit?
Yeah. It's
Courtney Sauer, who played soccer here back when the program was just... now tell us what the first year you played, what was your record?
The first year I played was 2007, and we were 12-1-1.
So you were just starting to turn things in the right direction with Coach Callahan. Now, you've played for Coach Callahan back when he was first starting. Do you remember some of his coaching philosophies and what he expected from his players and how demanding he was?
Yeah, it was always to go out and play our hardest and give everything regardless. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know if I was hear me or not. He was always too about having a good time and working hard.
Now, obviously, with the success he has had here in soccer with the program at Salem, he knows a thing or two about soccer, knows a thing or two about coaching and getting the best out of his athletes. And looking at this year's program, they're off to an 8-2 start. And when I met with Coach Callahan before the season, he talked about how, he just hopes they get better every game. And I think that's important for any team is when you start the season, like he said for the opening day, he had no idea what was going to happen because you don't know until you put the athlete in a competitive environment. And they've done really, a remarkable job. The only games they have lost is they lost a game at Meredith 1-0, and a game at Barton 2-0. And Barton has a good program up in Wilson, so that was a 2-0 loss. But other than that, they won a game 12-0. They've had quite a few close games, but they've also had they've got a freshman goalkeeper, Kimmy Templeton, and I think she was athlete of the week or goalie of the week in the conference. But she's had some shutouts. She plays really well, very mature for a incoming first-year player. Now, you remember when you were an incoming player out of high school and all of a sudden you're on a college field, what difference did it feel to you?
The game's just so much faster, and the level of skill is just all around a lot higher, and it's a big adjustment to make. So for her to come in, as a first year and step on and play so well is pretty impressive.
And the conversely, on the other side, Guilford's coming in actually with a 0-9-1 record, which you and I were talking earlier before we went on the air, that Guilford is always known for great athletic teams in every sport that they field, and it's a little bit unusual that the soccer team is struggling right now. But with an 0-9-1 record, can you imagine how big it would be if they could come into Winston-Salem and beat a team of the caliber of Salem College?
Yeah, I think it'd be huge for them. I actually don't think we've ever beaten them, maybe in a previous year, but I think it'd be a great confidence booster and really get their season started.
And looking at some of the schools they've played, and they've only scored 2 goals this year. In a 10-game season, they've only been able to find the net twice. And as you know, obviously soccer games aren't real high scoring, but you can't win many games with a 0 on the scoreboard.
It's probably just finding their groove and getting the goals, and once they get those first few in, hopefully it'll get them rolling. Well,
the teams are out on the field warming up, and we'll be having the opening kickoff hopefully in about 10 minutes, 11 minutes on the board. And look over here to our right, and I was talking to the gentleman from the food services here at Salem College, and they're giving away food. Now, you can't beat that price.
Free's always best, right?
Free is something I can always afford. But and there's a pretty good crowd of people starting to make their way into this soccer facility. I know it's an early game, and a lot of folks have to work, I'm sure, until 5 o'clock, and these 4 o'clock games are a little tough to get away from your job. And I want to say I appreciate you coming down here and helping me out today. And who was the other player that we got in the background?
We have Michaela Mashaw with us, too. She played 2006 to 2009.
So we just have all kinds of athletes around here. Now I got my photographer coming up to take pictures, Mr. Charlie Hilton. He's got the dogs all riled up. So when you played soccer, did you prefer to play when it was cool out, or are you a warm weather type of player? Because I know the practice I went to in August, it was just unbearable.
Yeah, scorching is definitely not what I would prefer. Today's weather's looking pretty nice, though. A little bit of a breeze, not too warm for anybody.
Yeah, it's the temperature's probably in the upper 70s, but we're over here in the shade today. We decided not to sit in the sun this game to see if we could survive both halves without passing out. But
yeah, we're probably 5 degrees cooler than the girls out on the field.
It does feel nice over here in the shade. And there goes Heather Huffman's dad. I remember Heather when she played at North Davidson High School and covered her in high school, and haven't seen him for probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's weird for me. This is the first year that I didn't play with any of the girls on the team. So it's been a full 4 years, so I'm not too familiar with a lot of the players.
Now, you graduated from Salem?
Mm-hmm.
And what are you doing with your life now?
I work as a clinical research coordinator in Charlotte. We get drugs approved for you.
That's a big word.
That's what everybody kind of looks and says, what?
So you work in Charlotte?
Mm-hmm, so not too far away.
You drove up here to...
Yeah, well,
you know.
You've met Jay, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's, you're right.
When you have a great coach and somebody that you really respect, you'll kind of help them out if they need it. So.
And, you know, that's something I've noticed about him is that Jay is, for the most part, he is kind of quiet, but he is very passionate about soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were talking on our show a couple months ago, you could just tell by the way he approached things that it was something he was going to be successful at, because he takes it serious and he expects the best out of his players. And I think, as you mentioned, respect. The players respect him immensely because he's not one of these jump up and down and yell and scream kind of guys. And he gets just as much out of his team as any other type of coach would get. And what's your puppy's name? We have a puppy also in the booth who is actually doing a better job than we are.
This is Izzy.
Izzy.
She's about 4 months old.
4 months old. And she's keeping us busy here in the booth and keeping us company. Like Coach Callahan has his team off the field. I guess they're down in
huddled up in the tent
where they enter the field when they get the pregame ceremony underway. And as we said, there's a pretty good sized crowd here on the. This will be on the side opposite of where the teams are, and a lot of parents coming in. A lot of I think there's a lot of students here. When you were here, was there a good support group behind your athletic programs, parents, students?
The parents, I think, always support you no matter what, but I think we definitely saw the student attendance rise over the years, and as we became more successful and started winning some games. The field used to be across the street, and I think when they pulled it over here on campus, it really increased the attendance.
And it's amazing what winning does.
Yeah.
You know, winning, you win ball games, and students will get behind you, and everybody wants to be on board. And good. Come by and see me after a while. That's Mr. Huffman. He hadn't seen me. He probably didn't know who I was because my hair is thinner and grayer than it was. And you don't know about that. You're just a kid. But, yeah, it was fun. It's fun to see some of these kids that do participate at the next level. After you watched them play when they were like in middle school and up in high school, then you see an athlete on a college field, and you think back. I've got some kids that I covered when they were in middle school that are going to be playing D1 football next fall, and you think back of how they developed into such great athletes and great young men and women. We've got some softball players playing D1 that I covered for a few years, and that's what's. It's kind of interesting when you cover a lower school game. You start thinking, is that person going to be one that's going to go to the next level? When you were in high school, when did you know that you could play college sports?
I think when I got that first phone call.
Really?
Yeah, I was a little oblivious to the whole college scene and didn't really understand much about it until somebody picked up the phone and said, "Hey, do you want to come play with us?" So.
And you're right. I mean, and today. Did you play travel soccer?
I did, but it wasn't quite to the scale that it is now.
Can you imagine today how all sports have these showcases and elites and all these? Do you think kids run the risk of getting burnt out? You play almost 12 months out of the year.
Yeah, I know I did. I played, I started out with basketball and played travel and everything and got burnt out pretty early on and decided not to play. So. Well,
it's a whole different approach today to youth athletics than it was 20, 30 years ago. And I think a lot of kids, a lot of them probably are playing sports that some of them are probably told to, you know, and even some of the other, like we cover racing, and a lot of young kids race cars, and you know that you got to let a kid, I think, do what he or she has fun at doing and wants to do. Because if you're doing it to please mom or dad, then, there's going to be a disappointment come along sometime, because the kid's going to just throw his hands up and say, I'm done, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
We do have rosters with us here in the booth. There was some changes, and what was your title of your job again now?
A clinical research coordinator.
My clinical research coordinator went through and made the appropriate, I'm assuming there were very few changes to the rosters, but we do have a list of both teams' players. We're going to do our best to identify them as best as we can. We're down at one end of the field because of the location of the access to power, electricity. We had to plug in down here by the scoreboard. And we did choose to come on the east side of the field, or I guess it's the east side. The sun's going to be setting. Actually, it's the west side. Is it east or west? What do you think? The sun is setting...
I think we're on the east side, right? I don't know.
Anyway, we should. I think the sun's going to go down behind these trees. A fairly decent vantage point. We'll be challenged looking down the other end of the field, but hopefully all the action's on our end of the field. I covered a high school game yesterday, and I would say it was an 80-minute game. I would say 70 minutes of the game was played at one end of the field.
Yeah.
Because the team was so dominant that kept the ball, and obviously you know how important it is to possess the ball in soccer. As long as the ball's on this side of the field, they can't score against you. What position? What? Ben, you're pretty active, aren't you? You're all over the place.
Yeah, it was a lot of running for sure.
A lot of running. But it was fun.
The best time.
Best times. So
yeah, Michaela and I were reminiscing on our way back in about all the good times we had playing soccer and hanging out here.
Is this obviously is an all-girls school, but it's a great location, isn't it? It's fun.
Yeah, we were close and could go out and do lots of fun stuff here, so we definitely enjoyed the location.
And a lot of people don't even know about Salem College but it is a great little school. And I was talking to one of the gentlemen today about. He says he thinks there's a little over 1,000, maybe 1,000 students. About half and half are residents and half are commuters. And I know there's quite a few young athletes from schools around here that have chosen to come here. I know some of your softball players that play for Salem, and it gives kids a great opportunity to, first of all, get a great education, and then to be have excelled enough to be noticed by a college coach. Jay had told me earlier about how he found out about a lot of his players. He goes to these showcase tournaments, and he'll see some kid that he sees potential in, and because I was talking to him about his roster, and I was looking at how far some of the players were coming from, and talking about Sacramento, California. And I think there's a Wyoming. He said, "No, I didn't go recruit out there. I just found them at camps and at tournaments and got them to come to Salem." So I guess they don't have a big recruiting budget.
Yeah, Jay doesn't get to take trips out to Wyoming anywhere fun.
Yeah, but he does. I think he has a real keen eye for talent. I think he knows, and I think he also knows what kind of a player that he's looking for. Because we talked about in preseason about how every player has to recognize her role on the team. It may be you're going to play 90 minutes, or maybe you're not going to play 9 minutes. But there's a reason why, everybody's got to figure into that role, and you got to be a team and pull a rope in the same direction to be successful. And he's certainly able to. Just look at the number of players he's got. I mean, my goodness, when you have that many kids, and a lot of them, could start a lot of places.
Mm-hmm. I think he's real great with them at first, too, kind of making sure everyone knows their role and knows what to expect, but making sure everyone knows that their role is important and imperative to the team's success. So,
we forgot to mention our sponsors, because we do have sponsors. Our sports broadcasting is brought to you by Bibbs Downtown.
I do love Bibbs.
And that's where we have our show, and that's where I met Jay. And Bibbs has been very supportive of our website, and they've allowed us to go out and do some various sporting events. So if you're in Winston-Salem and you want to taste some really good barbecue, really good food, they are the Pitmasters champion from, I think, that is not a fire drill. That is the horn to tell all the fans that we're getting ready to start the pregame ceremony. But they were the Pitmasters champion in Mobile, Alabama, and actually had their pitmaster, Mark Little, actually did a football game with us in the booth. He's a former football player, and he was just – and the best part about having someone from Bibbs on the broadcast, they bring food in the press box. And when Bibbs walks in with a plate full of food, believe me, everybody goes and dive in after it. But we do want to say that we appreciate Robert and Mark for getting on board and helping us do what we love to do, and we try to spotlight athletes in the triad, high school and college and middle school athletes, and I think it's it speaks highly of Bibbs that they have the same principles we have, and that they love to have young people being noticed in the public. We have our announce a monthly show. We'll bring in a high school football team, for example, and it's amazing when you say we're going to have an hour show, and 90 minutes later, the last football player has said what he wanted to say on the air, because the kids get excited, and we do too, because I think it's you're not that far removed from high school days, but those are some fun times. Mm-hmm. Being a kid, as you get older, you have to start accepting more responsibility, and some of the fun becomes not so much fun anymore. But when you're in high school, these kids need to enjoy every minute of it and take advantage of anything they can, because it will come to an end. Mm-hmm. And you have to become a clinical research coordinator
by the end of the show.
But I tell you what, that is I assume you like your job.
I do.
And it's a challenging job, and you say you approve the drugs that we.
It's one of the steps. Yeah. It's how all of the big pharmaceutical companies actually get them covered by the insurance and FDA. So it's a bunch of paperwork. And
so do you have to deal with the FDA? And
no, we don't have to do that. We just deal with the patients that the medication's given to. So.
And you do some research on that and make sure they're approved. Well, it sounds like interesting. Is that a career that you're going to stay in, you think? Or?
I think so right now. I've only been in it for about 2 years, but we'll see.
Well, it's at least you were fortunate to be able to find an employment, after college. They are getting ready to introduce the starters, which we don't know what the starting lineup is. But what we can do is, once we see a player introduced, now they're wearing their striped jerseys.
Yeah, they're bumblebee jerseys.
And, for a broadcaster or anybody in the media, those are hard to decipher numbers. Mm-hmm. And those teams that wear the digital camouflage uniforms now, mm-hmm. If you do a baseball game and you can't even tell what the first baseman's number is, you're sitting up in the booth, and one of our local colleges had those uniforms. Unless you know the person's name by position, you have no idea who he is. And this is going to probably challenge my overused eyesight.
I hope your sight's better than mine. I'm not sure if I can read the numbers either from here.
But you know what? We're going to have fun. We're going to do our best to describe the action to our listeners. We want to thank those that are listening, and remind you that also these broadcasts are actually archived on triadsportscoverage.com, and you can go back after the fact and call up this particular broadcast and listen to it. And we don't want you to go listen to it and criticize us, because we're doing our best, right, Courtney?
Right.
But no, it's all in fun, and we have a great time talking about some of these great athletes. And I was telling you earlier, I came to the first game, and Jay's team played a real good first half. They were almost dominant to the point that it was kind of like they had the game in control. And they got ahead by quite a few goals, and all of a sudden, I think in human nature sometimes you kind of pull back a little bit.
Get comfortable.
And you know, if you're playing a team that has any ability at all and you let up, you're going to be faced with a real struggle. The team last night that I covered in high school, we had a much better team than the opponent. Had a 4-1 lead with like late in the second half and just let the guard down. It was 4-3. There was a chance that game was going to be tied right at the buzzer. So you can't give up anything once you start. It's got to be a 90-minute game. And I know Jay was telling me that he's trying to stress to his kids that no matter what the score is, you keep playing. You know, you don't want to give the other team a chance to stay with you because that's how you lose games that you should not lose.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't too happy about that.
But the teams are walking to the field with the 3 officials for the game. And I'm assuming that's the starting lineup, Courtney.
Yeah, that's the starting lineup out there, but I can't read many of the numbers either.
Can't read the numbers. And what we'll do is when we hear the public address announcer, maybe you can repeat them after that.
All right. I think they just said keeper is going to be number 0, Caitlin Young. Freshman Emily Vaughn will be starting for the Quakers.
It's hard to hear, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't quite repeat him back off enough as soon as I hear him.
But what we'll do is when the teams take the field, as we recognized the numbers, we'll just give a shout-out to those players so that their name will be recognized on the air as being one of the players on the field. They're introducing the Guilford Quakers first. And as we said earlier, Guilford they've struggled this year on the soccer field, and obviously Salem has not struggled. Salem is, they have a history of being very good at soccer. So this is going to be a game where some coaches look at it as if you don't come in with your A game, you could be ambushed by a lesser team, and that's where you got to keep your mind in the game and ignore what the other team has done up till today. And sometimes these games are harder to coach than when you have a real bitter rivalry and it's a 1-1 game, because everybody's focused. But when you play a team that they've only scored twice this year, you don't know what to expect. If they have kids that maybe were not healthy, they may have kids that come out today that are really good scorers, and all of a sudden our goalkeepers get a lot of action. I know I was talking to one of the local high school goalies a couple of weeks ago about what are you doing when your team is so dominant and you never see the ball? He said, well, I kind of sing to myself, or I try to keep awake because, being a keeper, I guess you want to be lonely.
Yeah. Because
that means they're keeping the ball on the other end of the field, which is exactly how you win a soccer game. But I wonder if when a keeper is inactive for 30, 40 minutes and all of a sudden, I wonder how they keep their attention and bounce right back into it.
I know we always want to keep the keepers talking and kind of, obviously, like you said, they can see everything. So they're the voice. They're the ones you want to listen to. So I know Jay encourages the keeper to be loud and kind of let everybody know what's going on, hopefully. I think in hopes to keep them involved so when they finally do get a shot on goal, they're ready.
We're going to stand up and take a pause for the national anthem. are back live at Salem College in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, home of the Salem College Spirits ladies soccer team, getting ready to take on the Guilford College Quakers from Greensboro, North Carolina. And I'm joined today by another former Spirit soccer player, Courtney Sauer, she has a fancy job in Charlotte. I'm going to give up on trying to remember that clinical research
coordinator. You were there, see?
Oh, wow.
By the end of the game.
It's CRC, Clinical Research Coordinator. Hey, I might know this by the time we get out of here. We, as you may know, we are going to be broadcasting the home soccer games for Salem this season. We did the first opening day game on August 29th. It was Wake Tech came in, and actually that game was canceled. It was Wednesday, September 10th. It was NC Wesleyan came into town, and the Salem Spirits won that game. This is actually their third scheduled home game, but because of the cancellation, it's actually their second home game of the 2014 season. Our next broadcast is scheduled to be on Sunday, October the 12th. It'll be a 4 p.m. game against Lynchburg, and we will be on the air at approximately 3:45. We'll have further information about our broadcast on the website, triadsportscoverage.com. So, Courtney, it's the pregame festivities are over. You didn't get a pom-pom. They were giving away free pom-poms. And I told the young lady I was a media, I couldn't be biased, but I was still going to root for Salem. But and as we said, they're giving away free food. It's amazing how free food attracts a lot of people.
Especially college kids, right?
You know, I remember back in college when anything but cafeteria food for me was what I wanted to eat. But we are getting ready to get this game underway right at, it's 4:12 p.m., so the game will be it'll be starting in probably about a minute. The Salem team is huddled together for their last minute pep talk amongst their teammates. And I'm going to turn it over to Courtney for just a minute and let her talk. I got to say hi to one of my old buddies.
Salem's getting ready to take the field now and getting ready to start the game. Looks like Salem's going to start with the ball, and we'll get started here in just a second. Looks like Taylor Norman's going to take the kickoff. She's number 8 for Salem. The referee's just blowing the whistle for us to get started, and Salem takes a big kick to the corner. Natalie Mojica chasing it down. Ball played back into the middle, and good chance by Salem to start the game. And Guilford's cleared it back out, but Salem defenders bring it down, and it's a scramble in the middle of the field trying to settle the ball. And Taylor Norman's got the ball back in the middle and plays it out to the right corner. She's played it out of bounds for a goal kick for the Quakers.
See how good you did when I just walked away to talk to an old friend? I mean, that was like...
Well, it was a little nerve-wracking.
Oh, no. I could hear you kind of a little bit over my shoulder, and you were doing a great job. You know, it would be good if some of the fans moved a little bit further that way. We'd be able to...
see a little clearer.
See the sideline, but...
Looks like the Quakers have a throw-in down there.
So Salem is on the attack.
Yeah. It's Natalie Mojica there in the middle. She plays it out wide. I can't see who that is from here, but...
It was number 11, I believe, for the Spirits.
And I believe that's Sydney Priest. I think that's Sydney again with the ball, playing it back across, but cleared out for what looks like will be a corner for Salem.
Now, this first half, the Spirits are going in the other direction, so if the game is played in that half of the field, we're going to be challenged to see a lot of the action, but obviously they'll be playing down here
come the second
half, and they are so far controlling the ball down in that half of the field. Yeah, my photographer, Mr. Hilton, has requested a roster. Now, why do people think we have all the information here?
We must look official with our headsets on.
Well, I think you've added a lot of class to the booth, so they think this is... Salem is back on the attack again. There's a shot that rides right over the middle of the goal.
It's Natalie.
So
she's a senior this year, I think. She's done pretty well. I think she's started since she was a freshman.
Yeah, I think Natalie. I was looking at the stats of the Spirits before the game here, and he scored a total of 36 goals this year. And Taryn Johnson, and I met the young lady this afternoon. We had to move our table from one side of the field to the other, and Coach Callahan nominated this young lady to come help me. And I got to talking. I says, "What's your name?" And she said, Taryn Johnson. I says, "You start, don't you?" "Yes." I said, "You scored 6 goals, right?" "Yeah." So she's pretty active. I remember the last game we did, Sarah was calling her name out quite a bit about how active she is on the field and how good she was doing. Again, the ball is mainly staying at the other end of the field. Now the Guilford had a chance. Is kicked out of bounds by number 16 for, that would be Heather Huffman from North Davidson High School for the Salem Spirits. Now the ball is down in Guilford's end of the field. They trying to move it down on the right side. There's a fancy footwork, and it is stolen away by, that's another name we called out a lot, Jocelyn Evans, number 10.
Yeah.
She is a really feisty, very aggressive, and she plays real good defense. There's a
nice movement,
chance for a shot, and it is a little bit wide. Didn't get a lot on that shot. She was kind of off balance when she hit it, and it dribbled in front of the goal and was wide by a couple of feet. But they are keeping pressure on the Guilford keeper. Like we said, the ball has been in that part of the half of the field except for that one play that came down momentarily. But again, the ball's back on the other end. Guilford's trying to. It looks like when you look at the Guilford players, it's almost like some of them are standing still too much, and that's one thing that Jay doesn't tolerate on his team. Everybody has a reason to be on the field, and you want to be playing.
We always want everyone moving together.
There was a good block on that initial kick attempt. It goes out of bounds. Should be a throw in for Guilford on the opposite side of the field. Besides having food over here, the shade's on this side of the field, so all the parents are trying to get her in the shade. And the bleachers there's a lot of fans.
Pretty full.
It really is. It looks really looked like a lot of support here for the Salem Spirits. Now, when you played, did your team go to the playoffs?
The first 2 years I played, we weren't a part of a conference. We were part of the independent teams, and we actually won an independent team tournament playoff thing. I don't think there were too many teams involved, but the junior and senior year, we both went to the playoffs both years. We didn't win a conference tournament, though. I think last year was their first win at the tournament level. So
Morgan Canepa clears the ball out of the
back
Spirits end of the field. The Quakers had a kind of a breakaway, but then they kind of kicked it freely toward the middle of the field, and Morgan was able to boot it back to midfield, which then it goes out of bounds, and there is a throw-in between these two spectators that haven't budged an inch in 45 minutes. So there's a pass over to the corner for Guilford.
Yeah. And they're looking a little dangerous if they get the ball down in Salem's field. But
Salem defense comes up again and kicks it back out to the midfielder.
Looks like that's Taryn Bundy, I think, up there.
Going down the left side, had a little contact on the no harm, no foul. Mm-hmm. Now, were you a contact kind of player? Did you not mind mixing it up?
Soccer's a contact sport, no matter what anyone says.
And there's a legal way to really hit somebody in soccer. But then there's some ways that are obvious when your arms are extended out and somebody's rolling down the sideline. There's another chance for Salem. They've cleared it out to the right side, back into the middle. And then they kick it back out to number 10 is Jocelyn Evans. Heather Huffman boots it down to the corner. Ooh, nice header attempt. Looked like that was, I think, Sawyer Ferguson, Sawyer has also scored 6 goals this year. So between her and Tara Johnson, that's 12 out of your 36 goals by two people. So they're pretty...
Not leaving room for anybody else.
But, you know, an opposing coach would certainly want to pay attention to those two when they're lining their defense up. Again, the ball is cleared out by Guilford. They're coming down the right side of the field. She centers it and is knocked away by Heather Huffman again with a nice move to intercept that pass. Now we got...
I can't see too much between.
The ball was rolling free toward the end line, and it was going to be possibly a one-on-one, and the player from Guilford very wisely booted it out for a throw-in. And the Spirit are now trying to penetrate the defense. They've got the ball down on the left side, headed toward the corner.
Looks like it'll be a corner for Salem. Played out again by Quakers.
Looks like Taylor Norman is going to be, or Sawyer Ferguson, number 9, is going to be throwing it in.
Should be a good opportunity for Salem if they can finish a set play.
Let's see how much time we got. 36 minutes and 25 seconds and counting. There's a shot
Great ball.
right in front of the goal, and it is booted in for a score for Salem.
Well, listen, but I think that was number 19, Natalie Mojica, that finished Taylor Norman's cross.
Yeah, Natalie Mojica with the goal. Who was that kicked it in from the... Was it a kick in from free kick from the side?
Yeah, I think it was a corner kick by Taylor Norman.
Corner kick, okay.
It bounced around a little, but Natalie Mojica finished it off right there in front of the mouth of the goal.
But it was placed perfectly in front of the net.
Yeah.
Just, and that's one thing that always scares me in soccer. If the opposing team has a corner kick, they're so dangerous. There's so many things that can go wrong, and that can create scores.
Well, and it's definitely something that Jay spends a lot of time with, too, is set plays. They're just such a great opportunity to score that he spends a lot of time working on those.
So Guilford kicks it out of bounds down at the Salem end of the field. Will be a throw-in by Jocelyn Evans. Jocelyn, as we mentioned, is a great defensive player, very, very aggressive and very active on the field. Again, the ball goes down toward the Salem end of the field.
It looks like it's a breakaway.
Not
sure that is,
and,
but it's...
that was number 24, I believe.
Just a little wide right.
That's Brooke, I think it's Bucas, or it could be Bucas. I never heard her name. But anyway, it's Brooke, and she did a great job. Bucas.
And ball's getting cleared out by Quakers, but played back in. I think that's Morgan that just played it back in. Morgan just booted it back down to the Guilford end of the field. Now the Quakers have and it was Morgan. It was Heather Huffman broke that up.
Yeah. And one thing that Coach Callahan and I talked about is how fast Heather Huffman is. And even in high school, I remember she was just unbelievably. She can get from A to B in no time, and to watch her sometimes when she'll get a ball deep in our end and just take it down the field, it's unbelievable. Again, number 21 will retrieve that errant pass by the Guilford Quakers. They just, one thing that in soccer that I think kind of goes maybe unnoticed at times, and I was talking to an athletic director this. Now, in a basketball game, do you pick up the ball and just turn and throw it? Mm-hmm. You throw it to the same uniform. And if you notice, particularly in lower levels of soccer, it's just run up there and kick the ball. And I know that bothers coaches like Jay. You need to send it to somebody with the same uniform, and that's how you move down the field.
Yeah, you don't want to play kickball. You want to play soccer and string some passes together.
And it's amazing how many non-soccer people call this kickball, but they don't understand the technical aspect of soccer. There's a method to playing good soccer. Again, the ball is remaining in the other half of the field. It's
looks like a throw in by Salem.
Going to be a throw in.
I think looks like number 7, Summer Rich, just threw the ball in and. Morgan's got it there in the back and played it up to Taryn, but didn't quite get to her. Looks like Sawyer's. Oh, I thought she had it out there at the left mid, but lost it.
Number 10, she was, as we said, she is all over the field. Throw in by Guilford. It is
tracked down by
actually Heather outruns the ball and causes an out of bounds off the leg of the Guilford player. So a throw in for Salem. There's a nice pass. Oh, it's intercepted by Guilford. They got the ball on their end of the field. But again, defense steps up for Salem.
And Summerich is carrying it up the right side of the field and brings it back to play it down to Taryn.
That was a good clear out by Guilford defender, but fortunately for Salem, they had someone waiting for it to bring it right back down again. And there's a kick out of bounds by Huffman. It will be a throw-in. We're getting closer to being able to see the sideline. The fans are starting to move a little bit toward the trees.
Keep getting them to slide over the rest of the game.
Yeah, by the time the game's over, they'll be behind the bench. There's a throw-in that is taken by Heather. Little contact with number 5 from Guilford, which is
Nikki Baggett.
Nikki Baggett. So that goes out of bounds down here in the Guilford end of the field for a throw-in. Number 11. Virginia will be making a throw-in. There's a header. Ball's down in the front of the Salem goal. It's cleared out by Morgan
Capena, I think number 21, and
Canepa. Yeah. Again, Salem on the breakaway, but the ball is cleared out again by Guilford. Nikki Baggett, the ball taken away by Heather Huffman. Heather goes to the ground after some contact with Miss Baggett. It's going to be a free kick down here in the Guilford end of the field. Number 21, Morgan Canepa. Nice boot down the field. It's headed by a Salem player.
Picked up by Natalie Mojica and played back to Morgan. Pulling it out to the right side of the field, back to Heather. Nice ball work and movement by Salem.
That was a great triangle, moving the ball down the field, just keeping the ball on the ground.
Finding feet and moving the ball easily.
Just picture perfect, just they did kick it out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for Guilford. And it is quickly defended by Salem. It rolls out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Salem.
Summerich is taking the throw-in and plays the ball to Heather Huffman.
So Heather Huffman has been very active here already today. Seems like every time I look up, she's stopping a pass from one of the Guilford players. There's a fight for the ball on the other side. Not really a fight, but there is some aggressive play on the other end of the field. Ball is right at midfield now with the Salem clearing it out and heading down the field with number 7, Summer Rich. Tries to make a pass across the middle. It's intercepted by Guilford. There's a errant pass by Guilford that's intercepted by Morgan Canepa.
Nice win by Taylor Norman in the middle of the field. Ooh.
Their keeper came...
Looks like the keeper collided with the center back.
With her own player, but she came out pretty far, and one bobble of that ball, and you got an open net for Salem. But I guess there was no... I'm not sure what he blew the whistle for.
It looks like a Salem defender Salem forward must have made some contact with the keeper, but it didn't look like it from this end of the field.
It was tough to read that from here. I thought it was just same players in contact. But the ball is again heading toward the Salem end with Salem midfielders totally controlling the ball game. There's not been any real threat on the keeper for for Salem. That's Jimmy Templeton, the freshman keeper from North Davidson High School, which is just down the road from Winston-Salem.
Looks like a shot from Taylor Norman.
Taylor Norman takes a one bouncer that
keeper almost bobbles.
I saw that yesterday where a keeper bobbled the ball and the attackers give up.
Mm-hmm.
If that ball bounces free, if you're right on top of the keeper, then you got a free shot at the goal. But again, the Salem is threatening to get another shot. There's a kick out of bounds by the Guilford defender trying to clear it out from the Salem end. It goes out of bounds for a throw in. Taylor Norman is going to throw in. She throws it down in the corner and it is actually intercepted by Guilford.
Picked up by Natalie Mojica, though.
But now our defense pushes up to midfield and controls the ball, passes out to the left side to Jocelyn Evans. Sydney Priest, puts it down in the corner, and it is booted back out by Guilford. And a good defense forces the Guilford player to kick the ball out of bounds right around midfield.
That was Jocelyn Evans again with stepping up into that space.
I know when they played NC Wesleyan here, Jocelyn she had a lot of contact, but she was just all over, playing great defense, and those kind of players can kind of set the tone for how well your team's going to play. And I think as a player, you probably speak to this better than I can, but when you have a player really play an outstanding game, all of a sudden they bring up the players around them, and you want to make them feel like that you're doing your best too.
Yeah.
Let's see how much time we do have. 26 minutes, and the Salem Spirits enjoy a 1-0 lead as the first half clock is moving with 26 minutes to go. And I'm joined here with Courtney Sauer, and you Salem soccer fans, you may recognize the name Courtney Sauer because she was a star player at Salem College.
I don't know about star, but I played.
But she's a good analyst, and she's also a
Gonna get it this time?
Clinical research coordinator.
Yeah.
Is that it?
But before halftime even.
Wow. And I have no idea what a clinical research coordinator does, except she does approve medical medicines for use by patients. So,
looks like we have the same setup as the last goal they scored. Taylor Norman's taking another corner kick, so be great if they could finish another one over here.
So there's the ball placed a little bit. She hooked it right over top of the goal. If it would have been about a foot lower, it would have hooked right into the corner. Wow.
That would have been nice.
So it's going to be a goal kick for the Guilford Quakers as Taylor Norman's corner kick lands on top of the net. So it's no harm done. Guilford trying to bring the ball back up beyond midfield, and they're having a real struggle. There's a great save by number 7 that would be Summer Rich. That ball was going out of bounds, and she was able to save it. And then the ball was eventually kicked out of bounds by a Guilford player. Another ball going out of bounds on a kick by a Guilford defender. So Natalie Mojica, who scored the first goal, threw that ball in down in the right corner with Salem on the attack again, trying to put another goal on. There's a nice move by Salem player. I think that was Taylor Norman.
She's all over the center of the field.
She might have got kicked in the shin, and she's kind of bending over, grabbing her leg like. They're going to call
offsides there on
I
Salem.
think it'd be offsides. Yeah. Taylor hasn't moved from that spot since she had that collision. I think she's just probably a little shaken up from that. When you get kicked in the shin, I know you have shin guards, but nobody wants to get kicked in the shin.
Nobody wants to get kicked at all, especially not in the shin. So.
And again, the Guilford attack is stopped. Now they've got the ball is free going down in the right corner, but it is picked up by a Salem defender.
There's Jocelyn Evans.
Jocelyn is, and you know, I know she's probably the shortest player on the field, and she just mixes it up with whoever comes her way. There's a breakaway for Salem. The keeper tried to make a stop, and I guess it should be a corner kick maybe. Is he going to say the keeper hit it? No, it's going to give him a goal kick.
I think I couldn't tell if I think that was number 25, Jacqueline Hogg, just took her last touch a little bit too far out and dribbled it out of bounds. But she was past the keeper, just couldn't finish.
Yeah. So that was a great scoring opportunity, and as you know, if you keep putting pressure on a keeper, the more shots you take, the more chance you got they're going to go in. So it's a good thing that Salem is able to keep the ball at their end of the field. Again, they take it away from Guilford and keep it down at their end. There's a shot toward the goal, goes off to the corner. There's some contact with Summer Rich. She kicks it over to Natalie Mojica, who's already recorded one score for the Spirits in this game, the only score in the ball game.
There's Jocelyn.
Jocelyn is all the way down the other end of the field, bringing it up the left side. She was trying to get a crossing pass, and it was met with a defender from Guilford and kicked out of bounds. Should be a throw-in. It is. Again, the ball is kept at Salem's end of the field.
Heather Huffman won that one back and passed it off to Natalie Mojica. And
there's a good play by a Guilford defender punching it out from in front of the net. But Heather Huffman comes over, makes a nice pass over to Summer Rich. Summer kicks it off the legs of number 22 for Guilford. That would be Kelly Uresti from Buda, Texas. She came a long ways to play soccer from Buda, Texas. Throw in by Huffman goes to, well, now it's kicked back out by Guilford. So Heather will get another chance for a throw in. Taylor Norman standing on the sideline. Taylor has a headband on.
Easily recognizable.
Yep, that's one of the things we can recognize her by, her headband. Ball is hit all the way across the field, and it was a kind of a weak kick into the toward the goalie, and she was able to gather it in for a save. Guilford goalie boots it to midfield. It's headed back toward Salem's end of the field. There's a pass. It's going to be offsides, I believe they're going to call. A side judge has his flag up. So offsides against the Salem Spirits. And Guilford will be having a free kick from down in their end, or Salem's end of the field, trying to get something started coming this way, but they just can't. They can kick the ball down here, but there's nobody really to pick it up and do any damage, and Salem just goes over and takes control again. There's a high lofted pass down toward the end line. The keeper comes out and makes a good save.
It just seems like Salem's winning all the balls in the middle of the field.
And that's got to make Coach Callahan happy because, you know, any 50-50 ball should be yours. I mean, and doing that as consistently as his team is doing is going to bode well for how this game comes out. Again, they're headed back down toward the Salem end of the field. There's a
pass by Terry.
Little kind of a weak pass toward the middle that went out of bounds, and we have a
few subs.
So we blow the horn for subs, and it looks like there's two Guilford players being substituted for, and
Taryn Bundy steps off for Salem, but I can't quite see who's coming on.
Number 15 was 15. Who's not on the roster?
Oh, she's down there at the bottom. Grace Young.
Oh, Grace Young. Okay. Again, the score is 1-0 with the Salem Spirits on top of the Guilford Quakers in women's Division III soccer here at Salem College Field in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And here comes another kid that I know from one of your softball players is coming to watch the game. So I don't usually get hugs from college kids, but this young lady played softball at North Davidson. And
apparently got a lot of North Davidson players out here.
Haven't seen her for I don't know how many, probably a couple, 3 years, and she's going to be playing softball. She's a first-year player here at Salem. But we do have a soccer game going on. Like I say, it's not about me, it's about them.
Looks like Salem's bringing it down the left side of the field and cleared out by Guilford for a corner kick for Salem.
Should be a corner kick from the far left corner, diagonally from where we're sitting, out in the bright sunshine.
And should be another nice setup. That is how they scored their first goal. So,
and again, it's Taylor Norman who is placing the ball in the corner for the kick, and the Spirits are lined up in their appropriate position, waiting for that kick to come in. It's a little bit short, but there is a header.
Summerich has got
the
it under
ball is
control,
right out
but
in front of the goal, and they were able to clear it out. Guilford's trying to break away, and you're not going to get there before Heather, so you can chalk that up as it's going to be kicked out of bounds. So Heather Huffman goes over and taps the ball out of bounds to slow down the rush by Guilford. Now the Guilford has the ball in front of out in front of the goal for Salem, but the Salem defense kind of steps up and they take it away over on the other side. A couple people hit the ground. Now we got the ball rolling again. No call.
Guilford trying to come down the middle of the field, but Natalie not letting them.
Nice block by Natalie Mojica. Are they going to call that pushing on Natalie?
Yeah, they called her for the foul for that, but
it's amazing. Any soccer game I've been to, when they call pushing, the first words out of either the coach or the fans, call it both ways, ref. And and there's some truth to that statement. I mean, because there's always, as you said, this is not a non-contact sport. So the free kick for Guilford.
Oh, nice ball to the back
up
post.
In front, and then the attempt to for the header goes out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for Salem. That was number 3 from Guilford. That would be Cassie Vaughn from Brandywine, Maryland. There's another Vaughn, Emily Vaughn, a freshman defender, who's also from Brandywine. So I would almost bet that they might be sisters. What do you think?
Just maybe.
So here comes the goal kick by Heather Huffman for Salem. Again, it's temporarily controlled by Salem, and now there's some looks like the ball kicked out of bounds off of a Salem player. Guilford has again kicked it out of bounds, and we're going to be heading back the other direction. If this first half is any indication of what the second half is going to be, we're going to have all kinds of action right here in front of us.
And we can see numbers then, too.
And we're going to be able to hear what the players are actually saying when they get knocked to the ground and everything else. So Guilford trying to push them back out, and the ball goes in for a...
That's another goal, I think, by Natalie Mojica.
That took a... what they would call in baseball a
deflection.
Bad bounce.
Yeah.
The keeper came out, and it was not really a hard hit ball. It was kind of bouncing, and the keeper came out and nonchalantly went after the ball, and it kind of took a bad hop and ricocheted off her. And
yeah, it was a nice pickup by Natalie, though, a little bit outside the 18 to take the shot. And
so that is Natalie's second goal?
Yeah, second goal.
That's was that Natalie, or was Natalie Mojica?
Yeah, that's 2 for her tonight already.
So with 14 minutes to play in the first half, the Spirit suddenly are enjoying a 2-0 lead, still in control of this ball game, keeping possession for almost all the first 25 minutes of this first half.
And Heather Huffman plays the ball up to Summer Rich on the right side. And Summer plays a ball to
down
the corner.
The corner, number 12 is trying to
outrun some players.
Outrun. And that was close. That was a great. The keeper had come out to
win the ball.
Try to pick the ball up, and the Salem player booted it right toward the goal, and alertly one of the defenders for Guilford came up and knocked it out. There's another one close to the goal that's kind of a semi-bicycle kick that goes out of bounds off her ankle. That was number 2 for Salem.
I think number 2 is
Jordan Lanier. Is that right?
Can't find her on my list really quickly. Yeah, Jordan Lanier.
Okay. So Jordan...
Forward.
Yep.
First year out of Ashboro.
Asheboro's always been known for good soccer teams, so it's no surprise that they got kids playing in college.
That's a nice ball by Taylor out left, switching fields, but looks like Salem can pick it up and hopefully make something. Those tennis courts always get us. Over the left side of the Salem field is a tennis court.
Guilford decides to kick it out of bounds.
Take a break.
slow down the action, take a deep breath, and wait for the throw in from Salem. Again, the game is being played entirely in the other end of the field. So if you stay tuned for the second half, we're going to really put Courtney to the test, because there's going to be all kinds of stuff going on
and that's
within
nice.
10 feet of her. There's a potential score that was knocked away.
Looks like, I think I looked to see that was Casey McDaniel, I think, that's playing right forward.
Number 12, Casey McDaniel, had that ball right in front of the net, but was not able to convert it. Another goal kick as the...
We just had a sub. Summer Rich came out, number 27. I think they said her name was Casey Smooch, just came in.
Casey Smoot comes in to play for the Salem Spirits.
Guilford tries to make a play, but just kind of dribbles right into the Salem defense.
And you can tell that the Salem defenders, they're pushing further and further toward the other end, totally controlling. Hardly anything gets past the midfield line. And that I'm sure the goalkeeper, Kimmy Templeton, is probably about to fall asleep. There's been hardly no action. She had one time there was a header close to, but it was really never close to being a score. But and that rolls across the end line for a
goal kick.
I believe it's going to be for. We got the whistles blowing.
Yeah, we got another sub for Guilford. It looks like.
Number 5 is going off the field. That would be Nikki Baggett, and number
17.
Number 17 shows my number 17. So shows Jen Cole from Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Guilford coming down the left sideline, making a good play, but Heather Huffman's there and taken away by Natalie Mojica.
That was Alessandra Belmonte from Falls Church, Virginia, on the attack for Guilford. And as Courtney said, it was taken away by Heather Huffman. And that ball rolls out of bounds, going off a Salem player, so it'll be a throw-in for Guilford. But again, the throw-in is taken away by Jasmine Romero for Salem. And she kicks it out of bounds. Another throw-in coming this direction, as another substitute is coming in for Guilford. Number 19, Morgan Kremzar, is coming in for, I don't get the number of the player, but...
And I think Taylor Norman was carrying the ball down the sideline and inadvertently played the ball, I think, into one of the Guilford players' face. And she gets up and shakes it off, so it'll be a throw-in for Salem.
As the coach says, you got to be tough, get up and go. So Taylor's throw-in goes down to the end line.
Pretty deep.
Pretty deep throw-in. There's a centered
Great
pass
ball.
that goes right by the...
Right through the mouth to the other side of the goal.
Goes all the way across and goes out of bounds. It was a great idea, great placement of the pass, but no one there to take advantage of it.
I'm sure Jay's saying somebody should have been, though.
Yeah.
Don't want to let balls go all the way through.
Yeah, because anytime you can get the ball in front of the net, there's always a chance something good's going to happen for you if you've got the ball down and making their goalie work and making their defenders respond to your moves. There's always a good chance that something good will come out of it. And again, the ball is being played at the other half of the field. See, there comes a pom-pom. Mr. Huffman's got a pom-pom.
Maybe he's bringing that one for you. Ball comes back all the way back to Morgan, and she plays it in down the middle.
Seems like every time Guilford kicks the ball into Salem's end of the field, there's a defender in the bumblebee shirt waiting to push it back the other direction. There's been no real deep penetration except for that one play by Guilford. There's a pass up for... There's no offsides call there. It must be... they did save it from going across the end line. Now Salem has the ball centered beautifully.
Oh.
That was headed out of bounds by...
I think that might be Taryn Johnson up there.
I believe it might be. They need number 2 is who that was. So that was actually Sarah Slate. Jordan Lanier. That was Jordan Lanier doing that, heading that ball out of bounds.
Taylor Norman won that goal kick off of Guilford, and they're playing it down the sideline again.
And Guilford just can't get the ball beyond the midfield line. I mean, it's a totally domination by Salem. There's a pass down in front of the goal. No one was there to make anything happen for Salem, so the keeper picks it up and will boot it back toward her end of the field. It's going to be probably... should have been...
Just over Natalie Mojica's head there.
It should have been controlled by Salem, but it did take a bounce over Natalie's head, and Guilford had it momentarily, but again, it's quickly taken away by some aggressive defensive work by Salem.
We'll have to tell Jay they're not allowed to wear the bumblebee shirts when they're playing home. We can't read their numbers.
Unless you have fluorescent numbers, we can't tell who you are. Now we got some action on this end with Guilford coming down the field, but...
Looks like Heather Huffman's going to chase that one down.
Heather Huffman comes over and puts a stop to that. Now she picks it away from the Guilford player, number 19 for Guilford, with a great pass. Is going to be cleared out by Morgan Canepa. That was Morgan Krimzar from Guilford down in the corner with an attempt on an entry pass that was intercepted by Salem. So again, Salem in complete control of possession of the ball, and obviously with a 2-0 score, have everything pretty much going their way at the present time. There's the
first shot from Guilford, but it's wide.
So we just proved that the goalkeeper from Salem is not a mannequin; it's a real person, because she actually moved over here and took 3 steps, which I was beginning to wonder because there's no action, but. Again, it was kicked out of bounds and will be a goal kick heading back toward the Salem end of the field. That's, I think, Heather Huffman. No, that's not Heather. That's
Morgan.
Morgan.
Canepa. I'm not sure if we're pronouncing
Canepa.
that right. And Taylor Norman took a sub there. I think Sierra Hutchins came in for her. Here's
another chance for Salem, a breakaway. Here goes she hesitated and started playing with the ball too much, and the defender was able to tap it away. There's a
cross back in, but Salem couldn't get to it.
I guess it's when you're dribbling the ball down toward the goal, there's a time you need to let it go and kick it, and sometimes players over dribble the ball, and by the time they get ready to shoot, they've lost control of it, or somebody has stolen it away from them. There's another ball going down toward the end line. Is retrieved by the keeper for Guilford.
Just about 4 minutes left in this first half. Salem up 2-0. There's Jocelyn Evans back at it again.
and again, the defense for Salem is back in their position, playing the ball and getting it back up the field. No real threat from Guilford. Now Guilford has numbers. Can they move the ball down the field? There's a close to being offsides, but it is taken away by number 28, and that would be Sierra Hutchins. I think you mentioned she came in for Taylor Norman on the last stoppage of play. Throw in for Salem. Nice. That was a nice boot by Jordan Lanier, I believe it was.
And she stepped into the midfield as Taylor Norman's taken her break.
Now we got some of your fans coming by.
Yeah, more Salem alum. Everyone likes to come out to a Salem soccer game.
She's a former player too, huh?
Former basketball player.
I wonder if she'd want to talk on halftime.
Yeah, she'd love to probably. Tell you all about the basketball season coming up.
Why are people bashful?
I'm not sure. We'll just make her do it anyways.
Yeah, it's a requirement. It's an alumni requirement. So again, the Salem Spirits have been in total control of this ball game. They currently leading 2-0. As they're going to call a foul against Salem on that particular. There was some body contact, and the referee blew his whistle and immediately pointed toward the Salem goal. So it was a free kick for Guilford.
About 30 yards out.
30 yards. She puts it up in front of
nice ball. Number 8 from Guilford gets
nice
to
move.
it. Ooh.
And Heather Huffman, or not Heather Huffman, they both have ponytails and they look just alike from...
Looks like that one was Casey Smoot.
Number...
27.
Was that 27? That,
yeah.
So the Guilford's number 3, Casey Vaughn, is going to be attempting a corner kick here from right in front of our vantage point.
We get some action where we can see some numbers.
We'll be able to hear and see, and we'll know exactly what happened. So here goes Vaughn's kick.
It's also, yeah.
Yep, that was almost exact duplicate of what Taylor Norman's kick did on the other end of the field, where it just landed on top of the goal. But it was she had the right thing in mind, just had a little bit too much hook on it.
And cleared out by Morgan again. She took the goal kick there, but Guilford came up and won that goal kick.
So Guilford actually had a little bit of some activity down here that was certainly not the norm for the first half. Ball is again being fought after at midfield with a 1 minute warning given to the players. There's a player being pushed down. That's probably...
Looks like Jordan Lanier was pushed down by set number 17 on Guilford, Jen Cowell.
Doesn't look like Guilford has quite as many players as Salem has on their roster.
No, from the amount of subs, it looks like about everyone from Guilford's gotten on the field so far.
Yeah. So there's a kick by Salem into the... There's a Guilford player hits the turf. I'm not sure if there was some... if she had some help from the player from Salem. But
the referee thinks so.
They did call a foul.
Just about 13 seconds left in this half.
We might be able to get a softball player.
And that buzzer's the sound of the end of the first half. Salem is leading 2-0.
So the first half comes to a close with the Salem Spirits, not surprisingly, on the board 2-0, and I don't think anyone would be surprised at looking at on paper when Guilford came in. I'm gonna let you take it for just a minute.
Yeah, and I think as he was saying, nobody's too surprised with Guilford coming in with the record they had and Salem being 8-2 at the scoreboard at the half, but they'll take about a 15-minute break and come back and start the second half.
We're going to have Maggie Fritz get the headphone and talk about... I want to talk about her softball career, because the last time I saw Maggie, she was just a little high school player. Now she's going to be a big-time college softball player. Maggie, welcome to TriadSportsCoverage.com, and I haven't seen you since you were a little girl.
Right. I was a freshman in high school.
And I know you, at times, you struggled with some injuries, and it was like, I'm going to get to play ball, I'm going to get to play ball. Then I find out when I met your soccer coach that I did some research, and you're on the softball team over here.
I am, and I'm really happy to be here.
Now, what position are you going to play for the Spirits?
Well, right now I'm in the outfield, so I'm working some in left and working some in center, and I'm really enjoying it. So Coach Long's great. We're working real hard.
Now, if I recall correctly, you had a pretty good bat, too, in high school. Are you still a pretty good hitter?
I'd like to think I am. I mean, there's definitely room for improvement, and I'm always working. So, yeah, I think I'm going to be all right, I hope.
So have you adjusted to college life? Is it all you thought it would be?
Yes, it's great. I have a really great roommate and some really good friends here, and it's just...
And they're standing in front of you trying to make you laugh, right?
Yeah, they are. They are.
But and softball, I know, has always been a passion of yours, but you played other sports too, but this is one you really wanted to play. And you played for a pretty good coach at North Davidson.
Pretty good, yeah. Pretty good. Try legendary.
Coach Lamprose, I don't think you could find a better person to play any sport for. He's such a great individual besides being a great coach. And it was really fun when I covered North Davidson in athletics. A lot of great memories of that school. And I remember your mom and you know, and how excited she would get and then how down she would get when Maggie got hurt. Mm-hmm. And you had to go through your surgeries and everything. But it's good to see that you've pulled your way through all this, and now you're going to get a chance to play 4 years of college softball.
Yes, I'm very excited. You know, I guess the rehabbing and all that was worth it in the end. And, I mean, I probably did it with the help of my college coach and my high school coaches, basketball and softball. So it's good to be back. Now,
what led you to Salem College? I mean, you know, it's good to stay close to home. I'm sure your mom's glad you're still within yelling distance, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Probably just Jessica Rogers, the admissions person, she really influenced me to come here when she came to college fair. And during the softball season, Bree was going to come here. So Coach Long came to a lot of our games, and he was very personable, very godly figure, very godly man. And so he was a very good change of pace, you know. So it was nice to have somebody that you could not only connect with as a coach, but connect with on a spiritual level as well. So it was nice to have him here, and that's really what led me here. And just the atmosphere and the people. Everyone's so nice.
Now, since you go to college for an education, what are you studying at Salem?
Well, right now I'm an education major, and I want to be a high school guidance counselor and coach. And
I was going to say, you would probably make a great coach because kids that go through a lot like you had to, that adversity, where you could have very easily just thrown in the towel and say, it's not meant for me. So you have that perseverance, and I think you have a lot to offer to a young player who may not be the best player in the world today, but you know what? You keep working.
Right.
And the breaks will fall your way.
Right. You just got to keep working at it. That's what I like to tell kids. And I always like doing the camps, you know, at high school and doing the little kids camp. So we have a prospect camp coming up. So that's always something fun. So I really enjoy doing
So you have a prospect camp here at Salem?
Yes, sir.
So you'll have high school kids coming in?
Right.
So you're kind of like an ambassador to the program. If they look at Maggie and say, I don't want to be like her.
Oh, God. We obviously are doing something wrong.
But you're enjoying college life, and you live on campus.
Yes, I do live on campus. Living Babcock 210.
So when you became a free person, did you kind of set the world on fire? Or how did you react when all of a sudden you were away from your mom and dad, and all of a sudden you're on your own, basically?
At first, I was a little homesick. Even though I am 15 minutes away, it still kind of hits you, thinking, hey, mom and dad aren't here to tell you when to do your homework, when to wash your clothes, when to do anything like that. But I think I've adjusted to it pretty well because I've learned to balance and manage my time pretty easily. And just they taught me a lot. I realized that I depended on mom and dad a lot, and now I'm out here and I have to do it on my own.
So how much time do you spend in the softball program? I mean, are you practicing now? Do you have workouts, or how does that go?
Well, right now we are practicing 3 days a week from 6 to 9:30, and we actually have a fall game coming up. I think it's October 12th, and we're playing at Greensboro at Carroll Island Park, and it's like a 3-game series. So we have a fall game, and then we take a little break, and then we get right back to it in January. So just a little bit of a break.
So you're able to budget your time, so much for school, so much for softball. But what do you think when softball season gets here? it's going to be, and I assume you guys travel a lot too. Mm-hmm. It's not like going across the county. You go
It's
out.
not like going to Ledford or West Forsyth.
Although both those places are great.
They are great. Gotta love them. Gotta love them. Gotta love them.
And you always beat them, so it had to be fun.
Oh, yeah. Friendly rivalry.
So what is how is this program doing in softball? I mean, I know I see their coach at a lot of, I cover the Powerade State games, and he's always there looking for players. But how is the team doing as far as what last few years?
Well, we have a lot of senior leadership this year, which is nice. Kirsten Garner, she's a third baseman, and she's a senior. And she really just steps up to the game, and she really is a good leader for all of us. She's actually a junior, my bad.
Is that her?
No, that's Brittany. That's my other friend.
Okay.
We're actually looking pretty good. We have a lot of good freshmen coming in. We have some nice pitchers. We have a lot of outfield, a lot of versatility. So it's really nice, and I think that we should be good this year, personally. It'll be something to see. It'll be something to come out and watch. So we want to try and get a big crowd, so that should be good.
And, obviously, something that you're going to notice, I'm sure, as you get into college, the pitching that you're going to be facing is not high school pitching anymore.
Right.
And you've noticed that as you've grown up, the further you went in the sport, the tougher it was to hit the ball. Mm-hmm. They're not throwing 40, they're throwing 65.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different ball game, so to speak.
Exactly.
And you're ready for all that and want to tackle that challenge?
I'm ready for it. I think I'm ready to tackle it. I mean, definitely there's a lot of work to be done, and Coach Long's helping out with everybody and helping out with that. So I think he'll prepare us, and I think we'll be ready. So
just a thought, Coach Lambros one day is actually going to hang up the coaching. And in 4 years, you'll have a degree. And you want to coach. Mm-hmm. What if you step into a legend's shoes and say, I want to coach North Davidson?
Oh, my goodness. That is a lot of shoes to fill. He's such a legendary, and everyone knows his name. That would be a
no-win situation, I think.
Yeah.
Because if you went 45-1, why did you lose one ball game?
Right. Because you aren't Coach Lambros.
But it's great to see you. I knew you were playing softball over here, and like you said, I haven't seen you since you were a freshman in high school, and you've grown up.
I have.
And all of a sudden, all these I talk about Shy Tuttle, for example, when he was in middle school,
right,
and now he's a D1 recruit at Tennessee to play football.
Player.
I mean, that's big time. That's really cool. And these are kids that and you played sports around them, and I know that North Davidson has to be really proud of the student athletes they've produced in every sport. You guys have. And our football team this year, not bad either.
Not bad either, I'll tell you that much.
It's hard to tell who's going to be the quarterback. They got so much talent.
I know. They have so many young people, too, that are really stepping up to the plate. It's nice.
They're great players and great young men. Well, you know what? We're going to let you go because, first of all, you didn't want to come on the air. But, you have if this sports thing didn't work out for you, you could be an announcer because you got that voice that carries and people can listen to you.
Goodness.
You do a good job. So. And tell your mom I said hi. She does every now and then. I think she wished me happy birthday on Facebook, so she knows where I'm at. So
she probably did.
And I'll tell Jake that I saw you.
Definitely. He's
up at NC State at School of Design, and he's growing up. And I saw Heather Huffman's dad today. Talk to him. It's kind of a reunion to see some of the people you haven't seen. But it was good to see you again, Maggie. And I may be at some of your softball games. I may even broadcast some of your games. You just never know.
Oh gosh!
I show up
at
a lot of
surprise.
I show up at a lot of strange places sometimes. Sometimes the cops are after me, and sometimes they're with me. But
hey, it is what it is.
But again, it was fun to talk to you. I always enjoyed watching you play ball, and I wish you all success in the world.
Thank you so much.
Nice seeing you, Maggie.
Nice
That's
seeing
Maggie
you too.
Fritz, former Lady in Black Knight from North Davidson, now a Salem College softball player. It has been kind of like a reunion here, seeing some of my former, some of the kids that I covered in high school and their parents. And Maggie was, as we said, she always, one person that you could always count on having a smile on her face was Maggie Fritz. She enjoys life. She enjoyed her high school athletic career. And she didn't, she struggled with some injuries along the way, but she always persevered and became the athlete that she is today. And I'm looking forward to getting the opportunity to watch her play some softball in the spring. But we do have a soccer game going on, obviously, here at Salem with the GUILFORD College Quakers in town. And the halftime stats, as we mentioned, the score is 2-0 with the Salem Spirits on top. Both of Salem's goals were scored by Natalie Mojica. First goal came at the 8:40 mark on an assist from Taylor Norman off of a corner kick. It was a great placement of the ball, and Natalie was in the right position, was able to put it in the net for the first score. And then again at the 30-49 mark, again Natalie on an unassisted goal was able to get it past the Guilford goalkeeper for the second score of the ball game. So as we go into the second half action, your homestanding Salem College Spirits enjoyed a 2-0 lead. As far as number of shots, the Salem College has had 8 shots with 6 shots on goal to only 1 shot for the visiting Guilford College Quakers. They've had no shots on goal, but they did get 1 shot off of a corner kick that went awry. But as we mentioned during the broadcast, it's been total domination by Salem. And this half, the action will be coming in our direction. We're at the one end of the field in the corner in the shade, and Salem will be attacking on this end of the field this half. And if its second half is anything like the first half, the ball will be down here most of the second half. The Salem has a lot of players. They have they have a lot of substitutes keeping their fresh legs on the field. Coach Callahan does a tremendous job of knowing when a player needs a break and keeps that fresh lineup, because he wants his players to always be active on the field and give your 100% of everything you got while you're out there. And if you're not willing to do that, then Coach Callahan is not bashful to put another person out there. And as we said, he has a lot of players on this roster. And this is our second game that we've covered on triadsportscoverage.com. And he had hoped that they would improve each and every game. And I know I was here for the first home game. And even though it was a somewhat easy victory over North Carolina Wesleyan, you can certainly see some improvement now after this is the 11th game of the year for Salem. And you can see that some of the players some of the new players, what they call the first-year players, have become comfortable in Coach Callahan's system. They've become comfortable in what he expects from them, and watching how they control the ball. And their defense has been remarkable. Every time Guilford brings the ball up near midfield, you have 1 or 2 Salem Spirit defenders right on top of it and booting it back down to their teammates at the other end of the field for another opportunity for a goal. So we expect more of the same this half, with Salem totally in control of the game. No real threats being put forth by Guilford. And with Salem's 8-2 record, we also got to mention too that Coach Callahan, Jay Callahan, the young man he came over to this program and started out, I guess, his first season with a 1-15 record. And since then, it's been a total turnaround, and everything's been going in the upper direction. The young man coached his 100th victory over the weekend. And if you've ever met Coach Callahan and talked to him about soccer, you can tell how much of a student of the game he is, and how passionate he is about soccer. And he goes out and recruits the kind of players that can play his style of soccer, and they do a great job. It's really a great team effort. That was the horn that says we're about to get back underway, and my photographer, Mr. Hilton, is going to exit the broadcast area, and Courtney Sauer is back in the broadcast booth. Did you enjoy your time talking to some old friends at halftime?
Yeah, I saw my old college advisor and lots of fun people to see out here. So
now, always when a young person says I saw my old so-and-so, do you mean like in age or just somebody you've known for a long time?
Somebody I've known for a long time. Don't tell George that. He wouldn't be too happy.
Well, okay. But we had a nice conversation with Maggie Fritz at halftime. She, young lady, was she was just bombarded with injuries in high school, but she's a great athlete, and now she's going to be playing softball for Salem, and I'm looking forward to coming over, maybe even broadcasting some of her games. But she was always, I always called her a piece of work because she's one of these real active kids, always smiling, having a great time in life, and it was fun to see her. But now we're back to some serious soccer with the Spirits. I would say that they're pretty much dominated the first half. Ball kind of stayed at that end of the field, which
strained my eyes a little to see down there.
Got to make the coach smile. Even though a coach is never going to be satisfied, he can be pleased but not satisfied. So the second half kickoff will be Guilford kicking toward the other end of the field. And our photographer, he's just dying to stand in front of me so I can't see. But I got to be careful because he has the camera and he'll take a picture if you're not careful. So the second half is now underway with the ball going out of bounds down at the other end. I believe it's going to be a goal kick for Salem. And that, I can't tell if that's Heather or if it's...
I think that's Morgan.
Canepa. So the ball is booted up to around midfield, and it's being controlled at the moment by Salem. They're heading back down this way. There's a pass over to the other side of the field for number 24. That's Brooke Bucas.
And cleared out by Guilford, but picked up by number 11 from Salem.
It would be Sydney Priest.
And Natalie picks it up again around the outside. And Salem's trying to work something. That was a nice find by Natalie to outside to Summer.
Ball centered.
It's nice. Oh. And that looks like number 20 just stepped over the ball there instead of...
Taryn Johnson. She was trying to score before she kicked it. There's a long boot in that was in the goal, but it was a nice play by the keeper. Kind of wandered over to the corner. It was kind of too much air in the ball, not a real driving shot. So another save for the Guilford keeper.
That was a nice win by Natalie Mohique off the punt.
And again, we started the second half with the ball down in the Salem end of the field. There's a ball over down the right side in the corner. It's knocked out by Guilford. So Salem will have a throw-in from the far corner.
Looks like that's number 7, Summer Rich, taking
Summer Rich with the throw-in to...
I think it's number 11.
11. And that would be Sydney Priest.
Oh.
That was a opportunity that was I think that ball was it a header? It came out off to the side of the goal, and
the defender tried to head it out, but just ended up hitting it out of the sideline.
So now we have a corner kick from right in front of us with number 11, Sydney Priest, coming over for Salem.
And again, if you wonder if Taylor Norman might not be injured, she's out to start this half, and it looks like number 27 is in for her instead, Casey Smoot.
So Priest will line up the corner kick. She's having trouble keeping the ball from rolling.
Ooh, and she plays it up to the top of the 18 instead of across the 6. And Guilford gets ready to clear it out. And Summer Rich is tracking it down, but it ends up being a throw-in for Guilford.
I'll call you back after that. Bye-bye.
And Guilford throws it in, and Summer's there again.
That was my fan club calling. I apologize for that. The only member I got, the one member fan club. So Salem again stopping the Guilford attack. Guilford does have the ball, but it's taken away at midfield by Salem. And here they come toward our end of the field.
And a nice foul by Summer to Taryn
There's a
Bundy.
great pass.
Oh, can Taryn finish? Nope.
There was a lot of contact.
Yeah, it looks like the defender and the keeper and Taryn all collided there together at the 6.
The defender is wincing in pain. I think she might have got hit in the side. They have stopped the clock for an injury. Number 16 for Guilford is Natalie Petkoff. And she is looks like she's in a little bit of pain she may have had the wind knocked out of her. Looks like she's trying to catch her breath, trying to walk it off. But it is going to result in a goal kick for Guilford. There was a lot of action right in front of the net with the goalie and the defender and the Salem player, but no call, and the goal kick goes near midfield. It was initially controlled by Salem, but now the Quakers have it on the run down toward the other end of the field, but number 20, Taryn Johnson, takes it away. And by the way, it is being broadcast worldwide on the internet. So if the armed forces are listening, they can listen in. Or if the Courtney Sauer fan club wants to listen in and critique her broadcasting tomorrow, then
I'll probably have a few friends just listen to make a little fun.
Yeah, so they can second guess everything you said tomorrow. So there's a slow dribbler into the hands of Kimmy Templeton at the other end of the field for another save for Salem. And Kimmy will boot it out toward the midfield line, that controlled almost by Salem, but
and Guilford's possessing the ball a little bit better this half.
And you know, the first game that I covered, the same thing happened, and it was almost like Salem let down a little bit, and the coach recognized that, but he also recognized that when you're up by 4 or 5 goals, sometimes you don't have the same intensity that you would have at the opening kickoff. So I guess he forgave him for that. But, you know, it's only a 2-0 game, and you don't want to give up a cheap goal, and all of a sudden you got a 1-goal game here. Again, Guilford has controlled the ball for the last couple of minutes. Now
Salem tried to break it up.
Yeah, they tried to take it away and bring it down to this end of the field. Number 21, I believe that is Morgan Canepa. Canepa has the ball headed down toward the Salem goal. Guilford boots it back down, but it's controlled by Canepa, and it's kicked out of bounds off of a defender, so it will be a throw-in at around midfield for Salem.
It's like Heather Huffman just took the throw-in and played it to Natalie.
Now, Natalie's had the magic foot tonight. She has 2 scores, so maybe she's a good person to pass the ball to.
She just played a great ball to Taryn, and Taryn's breaking away towards the goal. If she can get
Go ahead
around,
and
she
kick
got
it.
around.
Yep, it's a goal. So a goal for
number 5,
Taryn
Taryn
Bundy.
It was a good finish, too. She just had that same play a few minutes ago, and I don't think could quite convert. So
Yeah, that play at the top of the circle, you could see it was going to turn into a goal because she had good control and
made a nice turn.
The defender was actually on her shoulder behind her, and there was and the poor keeper. You see, the keeper gets credited for letting the goal go through, but you know, you got 10 other people out there that can help you. But I always sympathize with goalkeepers because they get a lot of the blame and not a lot of the credit sometimes.
That was also another assist by Natalie, though. So
another assist. She's got 2 goals and an assist. She's playing a great game, and obviously Coach Callahan wants to leave someone like that on the field because that's playing into the hands of what we're trying to do here as Salem Spirits now have a 3-0 lead with another takeaway and bringing the ball back down.
Ooh. That
was a good defensive play, clearing that ball out. But again, no one goes after it, and Taryn Bundy goes over and takes it. She had every intention of heading back this way.
And another throw-in by Salem here on the far sideline. And Guilford's taking it the other way now.
Met right there with the defender taking it away, and there's a header to clear it back out toward midfield.
And Jocelyn Evans is out there on her.
Go figure, Jocelyn Evans. She's all over the place.
And Salem's headed back down towards Guilford's goal.
So number 9, Katrina LeMay, comes in the game for Guilford. Throw in by Salem, and it's, again, punched down toward Salem's end of the goal. Defender trying to clear it back out, and she does a smart thing. And if it was baseball, it would be a souvenir for the fans, but we throw the ball back in, unless you want to pay for soccer balls. So here comes the throw in. double team on number 20. That would be Taryn Johnson with the ball trying to make something happen. Ball rolls out of bounds. Taryn kicked it out. Throw in for Guilford is going to be, should be a throw in. They're going to give it back to Guilford. It went off of both heads. I'm not sure which one was the last one to touch it, but the referee says throw in Guilford right before the midfield line. Morgan Henderson with the throw in.
Natalie Mahuka won it back from Guilford there and played to, I think, Taryn Johnson.
Taryn Johnson.
Guilford's definitely breaking up Salem's play a little bit more this half.
You don't suppose the fact that Taryn had to bring this table across the field kind of zapped her energy?
Might have worn her out before she could get started.
So there's a kick out of bounds. Should be called off the foot of the Guilford player, but I think they're going to say it was a out on Salem, so Guilford would throw in again. There's some contact with Sydney Priest from Salem. There's a kick a little bit too far out in front of
Taryn
Bundy, and it kind of curved out of bounds. So it'll be another throw in being handled by C. Whitlock Ullman from Guilford.
The referee just called a push on the back there on Salem, number 11, Sydney Priest, for a free kick around the 50 for Guilford.
I noticed the last couple of plays, Sydney was getting pretty aggressive, and I thought she would get a call eventually. Ball is headed back out, headed toward the Salem goal. The keeper's going to come out, have plenty of time to haul that one in for no threat of a goal by Salem.
The keeper's taking her time punting it out. And
the more time that goes off the clock when you're down 3-0, the better. I'm sure they think it is. There's some more activity that's going to be called for another push on Sydney Priest. She's definitely a physical player and doesn't back down from any contact. And sometimes those are 50-50 calls. You know, if both players go down, it could be called either way. But that ball is kicked down toward the end line, going to be controlled. Actually, going to be kicked out of bounds on the end line. It's going to be going to be called a throw in on the sideline, right on this side of the flag. So
throw in for Salem, but Guilford won it.
They threw it right into a Guilford plate, and they were not able to make any progress with the ball. Here goes a
nice string of passes there, and Natalie's coming up the middle of the field and has Taryn out wide. And
got two players
sure
out. There's a wide
it's a great
open
ball, though. Oh. And it looks like number 24 got caught up with the keeper right there, and she
Brooke
almost finished.
She had a good opportunity, had a breakaway, but
tried to touch it around the keeper, and the keeper just got a fingertip on it, it looked like.
I think they had her pushed to her left foot, and I don't think she's comfortable with the left foot. You know, when you're not used to kicking the ball with your left foot, you kind of hesitate, and that created a time for the defender to come and help the keeper. So now we have another corner kick, and it's Sydney Priest executing the corner kick for Salem.
She gets it right into the 6.
Beautifully placed in the front. Oh.
Natalie comes up with that one again, but can't seem to finish it. And Guilford's on the counter attack now. It's
Jocelyn Evans. She'll go take that ball away.
And she pushes her right into Heather, and Heather wins the ball.
Kicks it out of bounds to stop the momentum from the Guilford attack. So it'll be a throw-in from around the midfield stripe with Guilford making a little bit of noise this half. They've been a little bit more aggressive, had more opportunities to get the ball down toward the Salem goal, but they haven't been able to capitalize and finish out any of their plays. And consequently, they're still down 3-0 with 20 or 32 and a half minutes to play in the ball game. And your Salem College Spirits on top 3-0. Guilford trying to penetrate the defense, but there's nothing there for them, and they make a weak attempt toward the goal, and Kimmy Templeton makes the save, and she will boot it out of her end of the field down toward midfield. It bounces. They're going to call pushing on.
It's like number 17.
Guilford. It was her and Sydney Priest. They've been battling each other, and this push went the other way. So now Guilford or Salem gets a free kick from around right on the midfield line. Here comes the ball down toward Salem's goal. It's
Morgan
up
puts it
in
up
the
nicely,
air.
but
Going to be a throw in for, or is it a corner kick? I couldn't tell if it went beyond or.
I think it's a corner kick
Yeah,
for
I think
Salem
it
down
went.
there.
I think it went on this side of the
Yeah.
flag, so it is a corner kick going off the end line. So Sydney Priest again with a goal or a corner kick from the other side of the field. We'll see how she
Got better
places
luck
it.
from
There it
that
is,
side. Oh, it's a
right
great
in
ball.
front of the goal.
Salem didn't get to it.
They
Guilford played
didn't
it
have
first.
anybody there to put a head on it because it was right in perfect position.
Number 7, Summer Ridge, is taking the throw and plays it to Natalie. Natalie.
She hits it across the field for Natalie. Now we got the ball is taken away down in the far corner by Guilford, but she turns around and left-footed kick goes out of bounds. Will be a throw-in at Salem's end of the field with Sydney Priest with the throw-in. Ooh, there was an attempt for that was high and
High and wide.
actually hit the netting behind the goal, the protective netting. It keeps these cars from having broken windshields, I guess. So the ball will go back over to Guilford with a goal kick, and it is actually.
Those nets are a nice adjustment from when I played. We had to chase the balls down, and there's a creek back there.
Well, that's not fun.
And the cars didn't like it too much either.
So the ball is down at Guilford's end, but Jocelyn with a header to break that pass up to head it back toward Salem's end of the field. It goes out of bounds with a throw-in going to Guilford College. And again, the score is 3-0 Salem with 29 and a half minutes to play in the ball game. And this is Mike Pettaway with Courtney Sowers, clinical research coordinator. See,
we hadn't talked about it in
my old mind forgets something, but she is a former Salem College soccer player that was actually playing back in the early days of the program, and you were a part of getting this program started and getting towards that today. And I know Coach Callahan, he talks about some of the players that, when they came in here and how they've all helped develop what's a very successful program that obviously, if you look at the fans here, it's something that everybody really appreciates around here. But now we have a
free kick for Guilford. Right outside the 18. Oh,
look at that
it's a
play.
Nice driven shot, but the keeper still gets to it.
That was a low line drive in the left side of the goal, and Kimmy Templeton, she dove for it, and it did bounce off of her arm or her chest, but she just fell right back on top of it. Great reaction on the part of the keeper, and she's just a freshman.
Just the first time she's been tested this whole game, I
think.
It
is. So. It's the first time she really had to react to a shot that was on target. So it was a great play by there's a reason why that freshman keeper started every game. And she went to North Davidson just so I'd throw that in, just in case. But no, she's really performed well, and as you know, if you're going to be on the field for Jay, you have to perform.
Yeah,
doesn't just do it because you show up. So there's a noise in the back. Is that a motorcycle?
Sounds like it.
Or are we being attacked by some helicopters? Could be our flyover a little bit late. So Salem again controlling the ball, getting ready for another push down toward the net. There's a pass that was down in the right-hand corner. It's going to be booted toward the end line. Very weak pass. That was going to be kicked out of bounds by Guilford.
Got a few subs, it looks like.
Yeah, I think the intensity of the game has subsided quite a bit. I think Guilford makes a substitution, and Jennifer Cool comes in. And for for Salem, we have Kylie Dillow and also
Casey McDaniel.
Casey McDaniel. I saw the name on the roster, but I'm not sure where. Yeah, number 12, Casey McDaniel. Okay. Casey's actually scored 1 goal and has an assist this year.
Maybe she'll be able to get another one tonight.
Yep. So the keeper, which is the keeper for Guilford, is Caitlin Young. She boots it out toward the other end of the field, but again, there's no threat of a score by Guilford. And Kimmy Templeton boots it back up the field. Controlled, a little bit of push that was not called, but
another good ball by Natalie, but can't quite connect with Taryn Bundy up top. And the Guilford keeper's got it again to clear it out.
And even though it's 3-0, Coach Callahan would not be happy with someone just kicking the ball down and no one's there to take it into the goal. That was had good intentions, but the wings weren't ready to respond. There's another save by Guilford. So 3-0. Is that, as we looked at the record we talked earlier about, I think we anticipated Salem having a pretty good game. There's another chance that is booted out of bounds by Guilford. It's going to be either a throw-in or a corner kick. It's down near the corner. Our photographer is between us and the point of where the ball is going to be thrown in. It is a throw-in by Salem.
There, Taryn Johnson kicks it off of a Guilford player for a Salem corner kick.
She tried to center it in, and Guilford made a great defensive play to keep it out from in front of the goal, but it goes across the end line for a Sydney Priest corner kick.
They've gotten a lot of opportunities. They probably need to convert on one more tonight.
Yeah, they need to take advantage. There's a nice placement.
Another nice ball.
Beautiful placement. Oh,
number 3.
That would be Kylie Dillow.
Follows up on it.
And she was there for the rebound and ready to attack it. And again, we're going to get a corner kick. It'll be on this side of the field this time. And again, it's Sydney Priest taking the corner kick for Salem. When you were played on defense, where do you want to be on a corner kick if it was against your team? Did you like to be?
I was usually marking one of the girls coming in from the outside.
So there's a nice placement again, right in the middle,
right off Natalie's
header.
Head.
Ooh,
just a little right. Natalie was about to pick up her 3rd goal for the night.
That was close to going in. Great play, perfect corner kick. So it's going to be another goal kick for Guilford after the kick goes off the side of the goal.
A few subs for Guilford there. Guilford wins that goal kick and heads down towards Salem in, but Salem's defense is there.
Three bumblebees waiting to kick it back up to this end of the field. I mean, there's a great ball coming toward the corner.
No, but Taryn couldn't quite get around her defender quick enough to get there.
She wasn't quite quick enough to get to the ball before the keeper, but that was another opportunity that another couple steps, and it would have been a great shot on goal. But the keeper boots it back out to midfield. It's taken again by Salem.
And the ball's loose in the middle, and Natalie picks it up, and Salem's building back again.
There goes the softball team heading home.
Number 2, Jordan Lanier, has it out on the left mid and plays it to Taryn, but it's going to...
a little bit wide, goes out of bounds. She had great opportunity. If she would have hit that pass with Taryn, I'm sure we'd have had some action in front of the goal. But
looks like Taryn Johnson's going to sub off for Salem, and not sure who that is coming on yet. Guilford had a switch there, too. Sounds like Casey Vaughn's on.
So Brooke Bucas is back on the field for Salem.
Guilford's got the ball headed down towards Salem's end.
There's ball that's broken up by Jocelyn.
Oops. Back all the way to Morgan again, but she's booted it back up top if Salem can get control of the ball.
They're going to call some contact on Guilford. That was, can't see that, number 12 for Salem. Casey McDaniel took a ride to the ground, and the referee called a pushing foul against Guilford. So the free kick will come from just on this side of the midfield stripe.
It's on goal by
right
Morgan.
On.
Oh, and Salem's just, the keeper pushed it out, but Salem couldn't quite get to it. Number 2, Jordan Lanier's tracking the girl down. Morgan's got the ball back in the back again.
That was a great save by Caitlin Young. She that ball was coming pretty good speed, even though it was a long kick, and she was able to keep it in front of her, and it went off to the side post. But that was definitely had eyes for the goal.
Natalie's got the ball again and plays it wide to number 2, Jordan Lanier, if she can win it. But looks like Guilford, number 16, got to that one first.
It would be Natalie Petkov, and the ball goes out of bounds. The referee points this direction.
Ball to Taryn Bundy, but she comes out with
beautiful pass to the middle, and we got number 12, Casey McDaniel, trying to control it. It goes over to Guilford.
Salem's possessing the ball in the middle of the field. Looks like it's to Natalie, to Jocelyn Evans, and she plays it.
Beautiful pass.
And Guilford's picked it up again. Guilford's headed down the left sideline. Pretty good attack setting up for him, but it's broken up by a Salem defender. Looks like Salem's given Guilford a corner kick.
The always dangerous corner kick, because you just don't know how the ball's going to come off someone's head, or even if your own player heads it in trying to head it out. So the corner kick will be taken. Cassie Vaughn will be taking the corner kick in the far left-hand corner across from our vantage point on the other end of the field. It was headed in the right direction, but the Salem player was in position to...
It's bouncing around in front of the goal still.
It's dangerous when it's right out in front of the net, and you never... There's another shot that is a little wide left. Guilford had a couple of great opportunities. They had the ball right in front of the net, and the one player tried to head it in, and it was a little bit wide. But that's when the coach gets nervous when the ball's bouncing back and forth in front of your net, and you just never know when you might get a bad bounce and the ball will go in against your keeper. There's a ball that's centered for
Taryn's trying to get to it. Oh,
a little bit of contact. They're going to call offsides.
Yeah. She plays a nice ball to number 24, Brooke Bucas, but she was just a step offsides.
Brooke was about a step offsides, and the referee was in perfect position to make that call. We're down to about 17 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the ball game, with the Salem Spirits still on top 3-0. The free kick by Guilford.
Guilford's headed down towards Salem's end too, but it looks like it's broken up by Heather Huffman.
Huffman's going to take the ball away. Keep going.
She's headed down the middle of the field. Oh.
She hits the ground. No call. That was some pretty serious contact, but no harm, no foul.
Broken up by Jordan Lanier. Guilford was headed down, and Salem throw in to Taryn Bundy.
Bundy shoots across the field for...
Looks like number 11, Sydney.
Number 11, but the ball was taken away by Guilford. I'll give you a call.
Casey McDaniel has the ball in the middle of the field there, and number 24, Brooke Bucas, is heading down the middle and plays it for Taryn Bundy. And the deflects off the keeper. Taryn has a shot, and just over the front post.
That was another golden opportunity because the keeper did not handle the first shot, and it was rebounded out in front of the net. And Taryn Bundy, she kind of hesitated, and then when she did hit it, it was
shotted right over. We have another sub for number 7, Summer Rich, just stepped onto the field, and Taryn Johnson just stepped back onto the field.
So we're making wholesale substitutions. I think Jay is probably wanting to get as many players on the field as he can with the score 3-0, and really no real threat by Guilford. We're down to 16 minutes and 20 seconds of play in the ball game. And that is, can't tell if that's not the headband. That's Sydney Priest. We got 2 or 3 young ladies that have blonde ponytails, and they're all the same height, the same build, and it's hard to tell who they are.
Summer Rich is bringing it down the middle of the field now.
There's a great pass.
Oh, she tries to get it to number 24, and 24 is working hard on it.
That was she grabbed the ball. She grabbed the ball with her hands.
So the Guilford defender, fell on top of the ball and kind of stopped the play. So the referees awarded Salem a PK. The Guilford players not quite happy with that call.
I mean, I don't think it was. She didn't intend to grab the ball, but she rolled right over on it.
Yeah.
And your natural instinct is to do like that. And it was a great goalie move, but too bad she's not the goalie. So the Spirits are going to have an opportunity with a penalty kick.
Looks like number 20, Taryn Johnson's going to take it.
Taryn Johnson's going to have an opportunity to score this penalty kick, and it's good.
She does. Not even close. I don't even think the keeper moved.
That was a good hard kick. It was right on target. And the keeper, as you said, sometimes you don't know which way to move, and I guess she chose to think that you're going to kick it where I'm at, so I'm going to stay where I'm at. Because in the high school game last night, we had a penalty kick that was actually the keeper got his hand on it, but it did fall within the post, and it was good. But
so that puts Salem up 4-0 with 15 left.
4-0 score as the game is. Even though it's slowed down in intensity, the Salem obviously still in control, keeping possession of the ball pretty much at will. Here comes another pass down to our end of the field, and it goes out of bounds off the foot of Taryn Johnson, so it'll be a throw-in for Salem. There's some contact with number 2, Jordan Lanier, or number 3, Kylie Dillow. I think it's number 3.
I think that's 3.
So Kylie Dillow is actually called for the infraction, and it will be a free kick for Guilford. Nice long line drive kick, but it is right into the foot of a Salem defender. So again, Guilford not able to mount any kind of a challenge. They're not really controlling the ball when it is in their end of the field. And a lot of passes go to the wrong color jersey.
It was a mishap by Jocelyn Evans, but it looked like Morgan Canepa was there to clear it out.
You know, as many good things as Jocelyn does, I said in the first game, we can forgive you if you make one mistake because you're so good at what you do.
Summer Rich is trying to get the ball out there, but turns it back over to Guilford. And still kind of just loose in the middle there.
Looks like there's a lot of players standing around. I'm sure Coach Callahan's going to bring that to the attention in the post-game talk. That now we're down this end of the field again with Salem on the attack. Now it's taken back away by Guilford. There's just not the enthusiasm and the fight in the team that was here when the game started. And I'm sure Coach is going to say when you're leading 4-0, you know, it's hard to go out there and play like you're in a one goal game. Did you have a lot of games where you were up quite a bit here at Salem.
We did in the beginning. We had a lot of teams, I think, that we had big leads on. But then as we kind of got more competitive, we started playing more competitive teams and had a lot of tight games the last 2 years.
Did you try to keep your intensity up, even though it could be 6-0 or 7-0? You just
yeah. I don't think I really. A lot of the girls that I played with, we just kind of wanted to play and played as hard as we could the whole time. So looks like we have another Salem substitution in Guilford. And number 20, Taryn Johnson, comes off again.
Number 23, Bridget Shandell, is in for Salem, getting some game time action here with 12 and a half minutes to go in the ball game.
We're still down here on Guilford's end, Salem's trying to get control of the ball.
So another throw in for Salem down at the at our end of the field for another opportunity to add some scores to a 4-0 lead.
Natalie Mojica's trying to win the ball, but she gets another throw in for Salem.
Yeah, it'd probably be a good thing to keep the ball away from Mojica.
I'd say so today.
she has got her, so to speak, A game going today and done a lot of good things on the field. A throw in down in the corner.
Casey McDaniel.
Casey McDaniel kicks it out off of the leg of a Guilford player, so it'll again be another throw in for the Salem Spirits, who are leading 4-0 with 11 and a half minutes to go in the game. There's a good opportunity that is kicked away by Guilford. They had the ball right out in front of the net here and could have had there's another takeaway by Salem. Ball is again in their possession. There's a kick from
a nice shot by Summer Rich and just poked over the goal by the keeper.
That was right on the mark, right below the crossbar, and the keeper did. The only thing she could do was just jump up and hit it
over.
And I've been impressed.
Otherwise, that was a goal.
I've been impressed with this keeper, Caitlin Young. I mean, she's been under attack and
the whole game. She
has come through with some key plays. This could be a 7 or 8-0 ball game, and she's been doing a great job. So it's a corner kick by Salem, Megan Menard, with the corner kick right out in front of the
net.
Great
ball again and off Natalie's head.
Oh, wow. That was a great play on both Natalie's part and the keeper's part. Natalie headed it right into her lap. She was standing right in front of her, but that was a great soccer play. It was good execution on both teams.
And Salem's got it out wide on the right side, and looks like, is that Kelly out there? Again, we can't really quite tell who it is.
It's number 7. That would be Summer Rich. She was, that makes sense. She was on this side the first half going that way, so now she's on the other wing. So Summer Rich is still in the game. Have another substitution. Looks like Natalie Mojica is coming out of the game. And Casey Smoot, number 27, comes back in the game for the Spirits. And as you mentioned, we have not seen Taylor Norman back in the game since she went out in the first half. I don't know if she suffered any kind of injury or if Coach is just saving her for when you need her.
I'd say he might be saving her. I know they have a lot of big games coming up soon, and I think with the other players out there, he felt pretty comfortable leaving her off for that half. And it looks like pretty much the whole starting lineup, except I think Morganson, we got Jocelyn still in, but looks like other than that.
Yeah, he's cleared the bench, and looks like we have another player warming up on the sideline, possibly getting ready to come in for Salem at the next opportunity. And the ball has been controlled by Salem again the second half. It's down at our end of the field this time, so we're able to actually get a closer view of the action, but it's basically repeated the first half, and it seems like Salem, they just take control of the ball and can do about what they want to with the ball. Looks like Guilford with a lot less players. I'm sure there are players that put in more minutes, and
Yeah.
your legs get kind of rubbery at the end of the game, and you just don't have the energy you had, when the game started. So, but I'll give Guilford credit; they're still playing hard. It's 4-0 game. It was probably expected to go this way based on the team's records, but Guilford is they've given a good effort. Now we got Salem on the attack again.
Summer Rich coming down the middle of the field, and she pulls it back.
And she is a tiny little player, Summer Rich. Compared to some of these other players, she's very, very short, but she's active. She's after the ball.
Yeah, she holds her own in the center mid, where I think would typically see some sturdier players.
So that ball is cleared out by Salem, but again, it's kind of a free ball at midfield. Salem again takes control down at their end of the field, bringing it up on the right sideline or left sideline, headed toward. There's a great pass
to number 6, Becky Irvin.
Becky Irvin, she actually hesitated momentarily, and that ball was a little bit ahead of her. It did go off her foot, so it's Becky Irvin kicked it out of bounds. Throw in for Guilford, and it's headed back out of bounds by
number 7, Summer Rich.
Number 7, Summer Rich. Now she's on this side of the field. She is all over it, and there comes
Jocelyn Evans again.
Jocelyn Evans, and Jocelyn takes it to the goal. Oh, wow!
That last girl there hadn't gotten a touch on the ball. I think she would have been straight there, but it looks like it's going to be a corner kick instead for Salem.
I think it would have been cool if Jocelyn would have controlled it a little bit more and dribbled a little bit closer in. She might have had a good shot on goal, but it goes off the end line off of a Guilford player, so it'll be a Salem corner kick, which is going to be,
I think, number 11 again.
Sydney Priest comes back in to, her leg's going to be tired from all the corner kicks she's had to kick here in the second half. So she gets the ball lined up where she, right on the edge of the half circle. Here goes the corner kick into the center of the...
And another great ball.
Right in the middle of the net, and is headed...
Yeah, number 15 got her head on it there, Grace Young, but...
It kind of skirted off the top of her head and went across the field. She didn't get enough... there's some contact on the ground. Looks like one of the Salem players is still on the surface.
I think that might be number 3, but I'm not sure from here.
She makes her way back to her feet, and
it's a free kick by Salem, about at a corner kick spot. Sure, they'll play it about the same. Morgan Canepa's taking it.
I noticed number 15, Grace Young, is on the field for Salem also. I'm not sure if we mentioned her when she came in. And Sierra Hutchins, number 28.
A great ball again. Oh, and Becky Irvin just misses the left post there.
So we have quite a few substitutes on the field, as you mentioned. I think almost all of them, but maybe one or two are substitutes for Salem, with this game pretty much in control, 4-0. With 5 minutes to go in the ball game. The goal kick will go. Great save by
number 22.
22 would be Kelly Uresta, but the kick goes down toward the Salem goal, but it's controlled by a Salem defender, and it's headed back up this way with Becky
Irvin. It's picked up by the Guilford keeper there, and she's getting ready to clear it out.
So again, the ball is controlled at midfield. Momentary little push by Megan Menard is not called, but there's a lot of action right around the ball at midfield. Here comes a
nice ball
down the field, but it's the defender headed it actually toward
Megan Menard picks it up, and she tries to cross it back in. The ball
did go out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick. She tried to position the ball for a good angle, and she had every intention of putting it in front of the net, but the ball just rolled a little bit beyond her foot and crossed the end line. So Guilford with another. We're either saying a corner kick by Salem or a goal kick by Guilford. It's been kind of the standard play almost all during this ball game.
Just down to 4 minutes left, and Salem looks like they sub a few more players on and off. I'm not sure if we...
Number 26, Stephanie Verdi, is on for Salem. I don't know if there was another sub, but there's a push by Menard, and this time the referee did not give her the benefit of the doubt. Her arm was too much extended, and he awards a free kick to Guilford from just beyond this end of the midfield stripe. So players are marking up, getting lined up for the kick, and it's a nice long kick by Guilford.
Goes over the head of a Salem defender, but ends up at Morgan Canepa's feet. Becky Irvin's got it now and headed out.
Oh, she kicks it toward the side. We're going to see. It cannot be saved by Guilford. That was Casey Smoot trying to run that ball down, but it did make it across the sideline for a throw-in for Guilford.
Stephanie Verdi, I think that's who it is out there, wins the ball. But
26 26, Stephanie Verdi. Again, another throw-in, and Guilford will have the ball at the Salem end of the field. Nice throw-in, controlled by Guilford initially. Now it's taken away, now controlled again by Guilford. Salem needs to get that ball out of the front of their net. There's a call again for some contact.
Right outside the 18, it looks like from here. Not quite sure how close it is, but pretty dangerous free kick, pretty dangerous place to foul at.
I see number 14 for Salem is Liz Smetana. I probably didn't say that correctly, but she is on the
She'll
field.
She'll forgive you later.
She is on the field. There's a kick that is going to be wide of the goal, and Templeton lets it go out of bounds, and it'll be
another sub with just 2 minutes left, it looks like, for Salem.
So a goal kick coming this direction, and another Salem player will be making her first appearance in the ball game tonight, and it is number 25, Jacqueline Hogue is on the field for Salem. So I think everyone that started has now been relegated to bench duty after this.
I think everyone but Morgan. I don't think they're going to let her come back out. That's center back.
Yeah, she's pretty important. So there's a nice pass is intercepted by Guilford, but again, Salem steps up and takes it back away. Again, Guilford with the ball, trying to head back across midfield, but surrounded by three defenders. The Salem defense is they're right on spot with, going back and cutting off the passing lanes and stopping any kind of penetration by Guilford. I mean, I'm sure it makes the goalkeeper happy to know that ball is not going to get really close to me most of the time. So a throw-in down on the other end of the field.
Just about a minute left. Yeah.
And the food wagon is taken off. He's giving away all the food I'm give away one day. So
another throw-in by Guilford here with just about a minute left in the game.
So 1 minute to go, and Guilford should be a Salem throw-in, but they're going to point.
They're going to give it to Guilford.
They did give the ball to Guilford, and number 4 for Guilford, Emily Vaughn, throws it in for the Quakers.
And Salem clears it out, but to Guilford defenders.
That's number 32, Emily McNear. I'm hoping saying that's correctly, but that's number 32. She is on the field over on the left side.
A little dangerous with about 15 seconds left here.
Yep, that ball is wide again. So if you don't want to give up a goal as the clock is running out. So that's going to bring this non-conference game to a close. And if you don't believe me, you can hear the horn. But I think this game more or less went the way you would expect.
Yeah.
With a winless team coming in against a very competitive and a very deep team in the Salem Spirits. No matter who Jay put on the field, it's like there's still 11 good players. And I think playing, I would say, 80% of the game at your end of the field with the ball.
Got to be happy about that.
That's going to, in most cases, that's going to produce a win for your team. And And I'm sure there were things that were done that didn't please the coach, but he's got to be happy with the win. That's why you play the game to win, and this is another W for the Salem program. Always, as you know, great competitive program, and it's been our pleasure to bring the game to the listeners on triadsportscoverage.com. I want to thank you, Courtney Sauer, for coming in and doing a great job of analyzing. Did it bring back any memories watching? This is your old field, and you see some of your old friends. Did it?
Yeah, I think every time I come back, I just want to play again.
And Mr. Huffman is waving his pom-pom, and great game again. So Heather's dad, I've known him from North Davidson days, and I know he's always happy when his girl's on a winning team. So it's always fun to win. We're going to wrap up our broadcast here with the. I now forgot your title. I know it's a CR.
That's good enough.
It's a CRC.
Yeah.
Something. Why do I forget these important words? But it's Courtney Sauer, a former player here. Thank you for doing a great job. It was fun. Our next broadcast is going to be on Sunday, October the 12th at 4 p.m. We will be on the air probably around 3:45 when the Lynchburg-Salem game will take place here at Salem College. So for Courtney Sauer, this is Mike Pettaway. Say thank you for joining us, and remember the game will be saved, archived on triadsportscoverage.com for you listeners to come back and listen to it a second time or third time or a fourth time. And again, the Spirits win their home soccer game over the Guilford Quakers 4-0. So until next time, thanks for joining us and be safe.